he finds they're all cuckoo in the Ku Klux Klan.
On the Great War?
Yes, sir.
Where'd they send you?
Short stint in Belgium, Flanders Field. Matter of fact, served with a Georgetown boy in Oak Brook, Compton. He was crazy about those red poppies over there. He said they reminded him of his mother. And she's got a whole front yard full of them now. I imagine in 100 years they'll be growing all over town.
That part of my monologue was written to be a joke. I sure didn't know that, not until I started getting laughs from the audience every time. I didn't know anything about the entire story, the whole point of the play. But the audience did. They knew it all intimately. Many of them had seen this play before. It's amazing how much history happened just a few miles from where I grew up. Stuff I never learned in school. But I sure wish I had.
You started hearing news about this show that was just, so interesting and had such an impact on Georgetown and all of this kind of thing. So I'm pretty sure I went to see it that year and thought that it was really interesting. And then it wasn't until like I said, I think it was 2000 that I heard that it was happening again and auditioned and got involved. And for sure, one of the huge reasons that I was so interested in being involved was that Tom was directing.
I was not shocked that he was able to do this kind of thing. I was probably 4 years old when he wrote the play, and then 5 when he produced it for the first time. But by then I already knew him as the guy who made the Playscape in Georgetown, which was a project where he got a bunch of community members and they made a playground together. He was on the Parks Board. And so I wasn't surprised that he could do big things like this kind of project. It was really awesome to see how it's grown over the years. Just the reception of it is always so clear that it can be done multiple times over and over and over again because it's just such a good play.
I had never heard of it, and I've never lived in a place where Klan activity was a factor in historical life, as far as I know. Now, I did live in Colorado for a while, and probably there was some Klan activity there, but it wasn't anything I ever heard anyone talk about.
And Tom and I had a relationship for a while as, actor, director sort of thing. And he kind of mentored me for a while. So anything he was doing, I was quite sure was going to turn out to be awesome. And I was going to learn a lot about myself and acting and the world. So the play was based off of Ken Anderson's original book. And I think that was probably one of the first things to start coming out about this story.
Yeah.
Not that no one knew about it, but I think it wasn't widespread. And, even with all of the museum stuff that's out there now, when we started talking to people in town about the show coming up and maybe being a part of it in some way, nobody knew anything about it.
I sure didn't know how much of a presence the Ku Klux Klan had, right next to my hometown, committing atrocious acts of pure terror against people with the wrong color of skin or the wrong religion, right out in the open. I also had no idea that this was the spot where the American citizenry started pushing back. The hero of this particular story was an unlikely one. He wasn't a civil rights icon, and he wasn't even exactly a saint, all said and done. But he was a man who met the moment. He was this guy.
Sure, so I played not young Dan Moody and not old Dan Moody, but middle Dan Moody. There's a 9-year-old, a 69-year-old, then the 29-year-old. And I played the 29-year-old Dan Moody during the trial.
And I played Murray Jackson, who was essentially as the principal defendant and Klan enforcer in the happenings of the show. Germany in 1937, he would have been an SS prison camp guard. I don't think he had personally had any particular allegiance to the Klan philosophy besides the fact that it gave him a chance to go hurt people, and he probably didn't like the same people that the Klan said they didn't like, but that's just because that's where he was.
The people hold that on April 1st, Easter Sunday, 1923, Murray Jackson of Taylor, Texas, and Casey Baker of Weir, Texas, along with 8 others, did assault Robert W. Burleson by striking him on the head with a pistol.
Take this. This is your only warning. Heed. For your own good, sir, heed.
Yeah, it's funny. You don't look German.
What does the plan have to do with you?
Oh, not me. Us.
Who us?
Us? Us.
Us? You mean us? Listen, you and me us?
Yeah,
There is no you and me us.
I know that. You know that. Everybody in town knows that.
Oh,
They're accusing us of adultery.
what?
You know, maybe you're not so tough when someone stands up to you, huh? I said, get him the car! Now! 2 of them jumped onto the truck bed to hold me down.
What did they do? After they chained you to the tree, Mr. Burleson.
Thick, acrid smell of hot roofing tar. Pour! Yeah!
These men who pistol whipped, kidnapped, chained, flogged, and tarred Robert Burleson brought it up. Put them where all dangerous wild animals belong. In cages. We call these cages prisons, gentlemen. It's up to you. Lock them up!
But yeah, Dan is also going through, on a whole larger scale, a lot of pressure. But I tried to make the pressure that I was feeling applicable and usable.
When you live it, so to speak, so many times over, and you delve into the various characters and what their stories are. And these are real people. This isn't just a made-up play. So you're inventing who they are. You're also researching and hearing things. So yes, I think there's a really rich experience from being in the play.
It did feel a bit strange at first portraying this particular victim of the Klan's savagery. After all, Burleson wasn't black, or Jewish, or an immigrant, but he was a victim nonetheless. And I got to learn from a fairly intimate perspective a couple of crucial things, 3 crucial things. 1, the forces of evil are never satisfied with just one target, and they will come for you, no matter who you are, sooner or later. 2, like victims, heroes can also come from the unlikeliest of places. And finally, there's a lot of rich history right in your backyard. You could do a lot worse than to unearth that history and to tell its many stories to others who need to hear it. I feel pretty privileged to have gotten a chance to do just that.
Little buck, but he's out of luck, 'cause he'll get stuck when he finds they're all cuckoo in the Ku Klux Klan. There's a bunch of clucks in the Ku Klux Klan, and they're all cuckoo, that's true. With their awful hope, they're an awful joke.